Okay. Okay, everyone. Hello, 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 and welcome. And let's start sharing screen. Please feel free to ask any questions either now or towards the end. Quite a lot to go through today. I've had a request just to quickly go through quarter theory, why it works and what is it, and also how do you actually use the pitchfork. We did have some discussion, the live traders, on whether we should grade our sessions beginning, intermediate, advanced, or whether we should stick to our two main strategies, BYOB and 25 to life, and then do perhaps some extra sessions which go into specific sort of technicalities, and that's what I'm going to do. So I wouldn't take up one of these sessions because I know people want trades. We've had a lot of big movements in the market and there's a lot of pips out there, so we want to focus on, or I want to focus on, the trading. So quarter theory I'll go into, say, briefly, but I do have a video in my group which is always Harmonic Scanner. I always stick to the same confirmations. That's the Ninja Forex Traders Dreamworks group. So I am starting to populate some more videos in there, but I will do some more live specifically on the confirmations I use, which is quarter theory, the fib with the 88.6 and 61.8, channel touch, 1 minute trend line, break and retest, and then the 62 EMA. Those are the 5 confirmations. And for exits, I use the MTFA, the Hull multi-time frame analysis with it's got the 1 minute price going through the red and green going through the price, and then 15-minute bands at the back. And I use that. If you get 2 flips, I'm out the trade. So I'll do special videos on those. So today we want to look at briefly, how does a pitchfork actually work? Again, I'll use a separate video to go into that more detail. Quick thing about quarter theory, look at the trade yesterday and see if there's any new harmonics setting up or any trades at the moment. So let's get started and go into our harmonic scanner. First of all, I should say welcome to everyone who's on the 7-day free trial. You'll be in the Financial Freedom Movement group, and there are units in there. We've got everything incredibly well organized. So please, please, please watch Paul's intro video and then go through the units on there to make the most of this week. And then when you join next week, you've still got another 7 days money back guarantee. So that gives you 10 full trading days. And we should, between us, because we're all very helpful, be able to get you to the stage where on demo with a broker account, you can actually be trading and making profit, hopefully, seeing what you're doing, and then be able to go live. And when you go live, find a broker with leverage as much as you can, 1 to 200, 1 to 500 ideally, it depends what country you're in, and just place, say, $50 or $100 in there, no more than that, and then start with very low lot size, like 0.01, because that's how you grow your confidence into seeing that it's working, and the power of the compounding. There's no point in chucking a huge amount of money at it, even if you had it, because we always say, it's as easy for a rubbish trader to get rid of 10,000, 100,000 as it is for a trader that's had to start small and flip an account. If you're a good trader and learn the basic principles, in some ways starting with a small account is better. I know that's what helped me, because it made me be a better trader, because I had to be a better trader. I put all my money into this. I might have done things differently if I'd have known about trading when I moved over to France and put my capital into this. But in a way, I'm glad, because some of the big traders that I know through other people, not on our team, but through IM, they say, oh well, I've made my $5 grand, I've made my 5%, that'll do me. So get a little bit sloppy and lazy. So I think actually learning discipline really helps you squeeze out the extra pips, and is very satisfying, and the hard work does pay off. So once you've joined, you'll come into the Ninja Forex Traders, and again, people often get a little bit confused and wonder where to look for information. So it's always the same thing. We've spent 3 years setting this group up. You've got a watch list where the live traders, we put our trade ideas from the 7 hours of live sessions. Please watch Paul's intro video. I can't see where it is. It must be under announcements. Yeah, it could be under announcements. Please watch Paul's intro video. Essential viewing, that's why it says essential viewing. It's the basics, and then go into the units, because a lot of the questions that people repeatedly ask us are covered in here, and we went through all this, and this has been refined and reorganized over time. It's been very, very well put together. So I'm not going to read them all out, but you need to go through the units, and this will give you a lot of information. And then we go to our IM. This is what we're paying for, which is our tools, software, and all the live educators who call out. There's about 80 of them, who the big top educators. I go on, as you know, channel 20 is the one that I follow. So just pick 1 or 2 strategies, preferably one strategy, and we recommend BYOB, and get really good at that, and then you can branch out from there. So on the left, I won't open it up, so we've got other things to cover, but academies, please go through Forex 100. You will find that under Forex English, and go through the basic principles. You've only got to go through it once. Just understand the basics of Forex and what makes it tick and why it works, and then you can build on that. And we're going to go into strategies. And here are your products. The Harmonics, which is what I use, Harmonic Scanner, is free with your included with your platinum package. And then we recommend you add on Vibrata, which gives you the 60-80 trade ideas a day to look for price. So we're going to Harmonics. And what we'll do first of all is just have a quick look to see if we've got anything setting up. So here is an hourly deep bat USD CAD, Canadian dollar, American dollar, and my rules, I do a minimum of 80 pips. This takes us into how does a pitchfork work. So if you look here, it says 4507. That means it's 450 pips. It's a big scan. The bigger the scan, the more valid they are, more powerful they are. So that little digit on the end is the right of the decimal point. You don't need to worry about that. So we're going to draw this one. And I just want to check how much it's moved off the D point, because normally I'll wait for it to go 20 pips, and it has. It's gone 53. Now you can take the trade idea. I don't know why that's got 2 entry points, because it's not a shark. So that's a bit weird. Anyway, I'll ignore that, but there's your stop loss. You can just take that usually only appears on sharks. So I'm sorry about the glitch. I don't know why that's like that, but it doesn't render this invalid. You can take these basic trade ideas and work the ratio out of your stop loss to your take profit levels. And most scans will go up to take profit too. But we're going to draw this one. Make sure your time zone, bottom right, is the same as your local area. So for me, it's UTC +1. If you're in the UK, you just want UTC. And the clocks go forward on Sunday, in case you've forgotten. So then take your vertical cursor, USD CAD, and that's going to be the X point 20th of the 3rd at 10. You'll see it's written the other way around, 0320. That's because the Americans put the month first, but being British, we do it the other way around. The A point is 23rd of the 3rd at 1700. The B point, and you must be precise when you're drawing these, and then it's valid forever. If you caught up with my trade yesterday on AUD-CAD, Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, I'll show it to you in a minute. I was actually absolutely completely amazed. I didn't realize how old the pitchfork was that I was using, and it was 426 days old. It dated back to one of the first scans I'd ever drawn and kept on my trading view back in January 2019. And it was still valid to the pip across all that time, and that's because the scanner plus the pitchfork are both built on maths, or math as the Americans would say, something called Fibonacci, and that's what makes them so incredibly accurate forever if you draw them on properly. So the D point, 26th of the 3rd at 1400. And I'm just going to write down at the side these points here. So I've got stop loss 1.38837, because you can take the trade this way. And I'm going to put that entry, just the top one, 1.40377. So we can alter the entry point. Take profit 1, 1.42491, and take profit 3 to 1.43583. So let's go now to, again, you don't have to go onto TradingView, but if you are logged in and you might be off to work or shift work, or you've got kids at home or working at home now, for obvious reasons, then you're all right while you're logged in on the Harmonic Scanner, but once you log out, you'll lose your settings. So most of us like to use TradingView to keep all our indicators, keep templates, keep a watch list. It's kind of like a dashboard. Really, really love TradingView. So I do everything on TradingView, and that's so I can historically keep all the scans. So now I'm going to go over to my TradingView. You can get a free version of TradingView, which will allow you up to 3 indicators. I've got a pro version because of doing replay and having more indicators and things. If you can't afford it at the moment, you'll always get a Black Friday sale up at Christmas, near Christmas, Thanksgiving time, like 60% off or that kind of thing. So you could get it then, upgrade then, which would be worth doing. So I'm going to go to I've got mine, I think, organized a bit differently because I've got charts saved for each one, and I should have done it this way, but I never did it in the beginning. So don't necessarily follow the way I've got these drop downs. You can do it off your watch list here. And I have got those color coded to each session. So I know what pairs to look at. So the orange ones are all London pairs. The green are all Tokyo, and then further down are there's some blue ones for New York. All the anything with Canadian dollar and US dollar in would be a New York pair. So let me just find USD CAD. And it was a 1 hourly, so you want to go to the same time frame. Seems faster today. I'm sorry about the glitch yesterday. Apparently the streaming didn't work, even though I've clicked the same buttons. I should have said, I thought about it afterwards, and I thought normally we say to the people in the trial group, they don't come on the Zoom because we don't necessarily want them asking a load of basic questions when, you know, members and people who've joined, you know, want trades, and we're perhaps going a little bit more in depth. So the idea of the 7-day free trial is that you can see how we work, how we operate, what we're doing as a team, what support and resources there are for you to get successful very quickly with our very refined and honed strategies and a fantastic support community. So, but in retrospect, I should have just said, oh, here's the Zoom link, and let people join. So I know a lot of you have got people interested in looking and maybe wanting to join. So I'm sorry about that. If we get a glitch in the future, that's what I'll do. So go to the 1 hourly. Your time frames are up here, top left on TradingView. I'll just take off some of the indicators so that you can see the chart more clearly. Just hide them. I just said it's gone a bit faster and now it's gone a bit slower. Typical. There, take that off, and let me hide that current scan. Okay, so here we are on the hourly, and what you're looking for are reversal. The scanner works off reversal points in the market. It takes many years to learn how to draw these patterns. I haven't a clue how to draw them, and you know, I wouldn't, you know, that's what I'm paying for, is the accuracy of the scans. It's all done for me to work off the reversals in the market, and you know, a lot of us really love the scanner. So we're looking for, in this case, it's a buy scan. Everything's always off the D point, so the trade is being taken upwards. It's saying it's done its rundown, and now it's turning. The Fibonacci has proven this is the turn point. Sometimes, particularly with sharks, the D point will redraw and move downwards, do something like that. So you have to keep an eye on that. But this is saying, because it's moved over 20 pips, Paul puts a 15% Fibonacci on. I just use 20 pips. It's saying that it's solidified. And we're looking, as it's a buy scan, to start with our X point at the bottom. So it's always low to high to low to high to low, or vice versa. It's looking for highs and lows in the market. Okay, so back to our trading view 1 hourly. That looks to me like that's going to be the low. 20th of March at 10. You can do it in 2 ways. You can just look visually like this. It's going to be sort of that, and that. It's going to be something like that. Although on mine, it's not showing that new candle, so it might be that point there. Or you can take the brush. Neither's right nor wrong. It just depends visually how you like to look at things. So line up your vertical line. So X point 20th of the 3rd at 10. It's going to be that one there. So we're now looking for the next high, 23rd of the 3rd at 1700. And that's, this is where I find it a bit difficult because of the time zone changes. So I've struck, and my brain doesn't work very well like that. So that's saying that one is spot on, but this one, I want the next high. So I'm actually going to go for that one, which is the 1900. But let me just go back. I'll be better after Sunday when the clocks go forward. It's saying it's that first bearish candle, that little red one there, red for sell, blue for buy. So just let me see if I can find that on here. The first, oh, it's going to be that little green one. So I'm going to go for the green one. Well, that does seem to be slightly, oh no, that is the same. So that's, okay. That's slightly lower, 2000, and I've got it at 17. Yeah. 19. But does it want me to do that one? So you've got a big candle down. This is where, if you do get a bit confused, then 3 big candles up to a little one. Big candle down, 3 up. And yet that's at 2000. Let me leave that one for a minute. Let me go to the next one. I'm not sure about the A point. B point, 24th of the 3rd at 11. That one. So that's easier to see because it's obviously the low point there. Of the low point there. So I feel confident about that one. Tick that off. The C point, 24th of the 3rd at 1400. So that's going to be that green one. So that's quite obvious to see. Tick that off. And then the D point, 26th of the 3rd at 1400. So obviously that's that one there. So it's just that, let me get rid of the brush mark there. and move this over. So that big one down, big one up, big bullish candle up is to the right of it, which doesn't look similar there. So we've got, seems to be drawn slightly differently. That definitely says 1700, 23rd of the 3rd. So I want the nearest one to that, and it's a high point. So I think 23rd of the 3rd at 15. 23rd at 50 at 1700. It's telling me is there. The candles are drawn slightly differently. So I'm going to go from X. I think I'm going to have to go. I'm going to go to that one up there because which is slightly different, quite a bit different. But we might see more when we actually draw it on. So let me just put it on. So go to the left-hand menu to your scanner here. The 5 points there is your scanner, and you just want the top one, X, A, B, C, D. And you've now got 5 points on your mouse. So make sure you've got the magnet on the left. Now you see it says A, but the X is hidden underneath. Don't be tempted to click more than once, just left click on your mouse once. So that's put the X on, and now it's dragging up to the A. And as the scanner works on the principle of low to high, that's on 0, that's on midnight. It's quite a few hours out, but I might see it on the lower one because really I should be putting it here. So I either stick to what, but that says the 20th, so that's no good. And I am on the hourly. Oh, that must be why. Oh, that was my mistake. Totally out. Right, there you are. Sorry, I was looking at the 20th. That's the 23rd. That's bang on. That was why. So don't doubt yourself if you're thinking, hang on a minute, am I confused? I can't get this right. Just check back and forth. I knew that didn't seem right, and it was a basic thing. I was looking at the 20th. I was looking at the X point that I'd written down and not the 23rd. So that was all it was. So that's good. Back on track. The B point is at 11. So that's that one that we've marked. There's the C point. Click once again and then down to the D. So that magnet will make sure that it sucks onto the end of the wicks. You want it exactly on. It has to be accurate. Now come back to your object box, bottom left, and just tidy up because you don't need those brush marks anymore. And now this is the only fiddly bit. We have to go back on the 1 minute once we put the pitchfork on and make sure that it's on the most accurate highest or lowest candle. So we only got one candle here on the hourly, but as we go down the time frames, on the 15-minute, there'll be 4 15-minute candles will make up this 1 hourly candle. And on the 1 minute, there'll be 60 candles. So we need to make sure it's on most precisely to the lowest time frame that we can. So come here, top left to your pitchfork, just that top one that says pitchfork. Click that, left click, come back over to the X point. So you want to click, this is going to be X to C to D. It's always X to C to D, not X to D to C. Always X, 1 click, C, 2 clicks, and there's your 3rd click. Now there's your pitchfork on. And the reason I use a minimum of 80 pips per scan is because that gives me 20 pips minimum per leg of a 4-leg pitchfork. These are the extensions. They're a bit like Bollinger Bands. They will ping price, boomerang price back into the scan. So here we've got each leg is worth, just let it load up a bit slow, 140 pips, 141, 140 pips. So a nice big scan. So that's 5 times, 5, 6 times, 6, 7 times, 7 times. It's a huge scan. So when we come on to talking about how does the pitchfork actually work, I won't be able to take all my trades off the pitchfork. The pitchfork actually acts as a rejection point or a break in a retest, and price will ping off the pitchfork. It gives me the highest chance of success when I use the pitchfork. But when you get to can't see who's not muted.
Did you turn those lights on for ambiance?
iPhone Joe. So when we come on to take trades now with such a big scan, I will be, how do I take a trade halfway through such a big leg where it's more than 20 pips, where normally I'll set my charts up 8 hours in advance, and I'll be setting alerts, waiting for price to hit the next level of the pitchfork, which is why I can get such a precise entry, and that's where I take my trade. And the answer is I start to take it off. I'll just put it on for the moment to show you when it loads. I start to take it off at the quarter theory coming through between that big leg, or the 62 EMA where it crosses the 15 minutes, which is this one. So that's a little bit more advanced. We can go into some of that. Let me just turn off quarter theory. So that's how I take trades for precise entries where I've got a big scan like this. So now we just come down to the fiddly bit. And it is a bit boring, but you do get quicker as you go along, and it's worth doing because, as I said yesterday, I took a 100 pip trade off a 10 pip stop loss off a scan that was 426 days old. Absolutely amazing. And I told Chance that, and he went through it on the Go Live TV last night, because it's just super cool when you think how accurate to the pip these are. So here we are on the 1 minute, and you can see, although on the 1 hourly it looked like it was dead on, the pitchfork in fact is not on a candle when we come down to the 1 minute, because we've got 60 of these candles in the 1 hourly. So what you want to do is drag it across to and this is how we get a precise entry, because my pitchfork now, the 1 minute is the current momentum in the market. So the pitchfork is now to the pip on the most accurate candle on the 1 minute entry by putting it over here. Don't have to drag over the pink pattern, that's just giving you the shape, but normally I do. And then sometimes I zoom, put it on the zoom so I can see it more accurately when I'm on the point. If I can't see it out like this, we'll have a look.
Sarah, are you going to the wick or to the actual candle or the body of the candle there?
Always to the wick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, got ya. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry, system's a bit slow. And using the magnet tool will, oh gosh, this is slow. Using the magnet tool will drag it onto the wick. Let's give the system a chance to catch up. I haven't got a lot of windows open. I think it's because everybody's at home, isn't it? Right, there we are. As I say, this is the only fiddly bit. Yeah, this is where I go to the plus sign and I just zoom. So I can do both those points there. And if the scan is so big it's gone back more than 2 weeks on TradingView, TradingView won't let you go back more than 2 weeks to see the time and date stamp at the bottom. So when that happens to you, try and do as much as you can on the 1 minute. That is bang on there on that highest wicks, that's fine. And if you can't, then go to the 5 minute, and if you can't, then go to the 15 minute. But if you're trying to readjust old scans on TradingView, you won't be able to, because if you look because TradingView only goes back 2 weeks. If you look here, they all look like they're the similar place. So you have to put a line on, and I'm going to go for that long green one there for my B point. So because that looks like that, that's great. And then just up to the A and the C, and then we're good to go. Once it catches up with me. Quite a big scan, right? That's on the A, and the last one, the C. So all this is copy and paste and join the dots. It looks a bit fiddly. I know it looks fiddly. And when I first started to do it, they would take me ages, and I would feel left behind when the other members of the team were doing them. And I'd think, oh God, this is such a pain in the proverbial. But actually now I really don't mind doing them. I just find it a process. I find it quite comforting. And yesterday was just amazing, you know, when I saw the accuracy of a scan that's that old. And so that's what I mean. It's worth this fiddly bit. You don't have to get that pink one on, by the way. So there we are. Oh, I just like to. It's just a bit slow. So there we are. So we're on now. So now come back to the minus sign. Just get it back in proportion. And come onto your object box and just lock it on. Again, that used to happen to me in the past, that I would, I didn't know about the padlock, and I'd say to people, oh my God, my pitchforks have glitched. And someone said, well, why haven't you used the padlock? And I said, well, because I didn't realize. So, so you know, you learn as you go along. Anyway, if you lock them on, then you're not going to lose them. Now come back to the 1 hourly, and let's just see, it looks good, and then we can have a look at quarter theory and things. So we've got our new scan on. That looks nice. It's all locked on. Perfect. And let's have a look at the trade that the scanner has called. So what I like to do is just put on a horizontal ray, which is just like a short line, and we've got a stop loss of 1.38837. Down here, settings, I like to change them to blue, and coordinates 1.38837, and then you can right click it and clone it, and we're going to move that up to our entry point, which the scanner says is 1.40377. So it's giving us an entry point right down there, which I would never take personally, because I don't like taking things below the D point. I have seen Les using a different strategy do that very successfully, and that was when we did a trade together, and we did about, it was the UK election in December the 12th, and we did it together one evening and discussed it. We did about 200 pips, and I just stuck to my strategy. He made more than me because he stuck to his strategy. Both strategies were equally successful. It's just I was waiting for it to come up above the D point, up above a pitchfork, and up above quarter theory. So it's stick to your system, never feel fear of missing out or greedy for pips, because, you know, just follow your strategy and you'll get there. You'll get where you want to get, where you need to get from your work on the charts. That's the entry point. Take profit 1.42491. Which is going to be around about here. 1.42491. That's our take profit 1. Take profit 2, clone that, is, I won't bother with take profit 3, 1.43583. Keep an eye on time. So we'll go through quarter theory while we're on this one as well. Settings, 1.43583. And personally speaking, doesn't matter to me how many years I've been trading. I do use my trade sheet, check sheet for each trade. And also, if you can see that, I always write things down. I tick it off. I sometimes talk out loud to myself, and you can see I've written down the scanner information, read it out loud, not just because you're on. I have my finger over it. I check it, I read it, and I double check, because sometimes I find I have transposed figures. I never take anything for granted, never get sloppy. Follow a system, follow a process, check your list off. So still to this day, however many thousands of trades I've taken, I tick off each one as I'm doing it. And because you know then, well, it's like checking your car before you drive off, isn't it? You've checked the tires, you've got the oil and water. That's your checklist for your trade, and that makes all the difference on the pips. So take profit 3 there. So now you've written those in, you can take the trade like this. So,
excuse me, Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, a bit late coming in here, but
Yeah.
where do you get your figures from for your stop loss and your trade profits?
Just this is if you want to take the trade here
Off the
scanner.
Okay.
The only thing I'm confused on this one is that this is a bat, it's not a shark, and it's given us 2 entry points. So I'm ignoring that at the moment. I'm going to adjust it for you because normally you'd only see, I don't know if that's a glitch on the system. This scan is valid. Normally you'd only ever see that on a shark. So I have found TradingView, like I think the other day when I was trying to draw Euro JPY view at the beginning of the week, I found TradingView really glitchy and totally weird, and this shouldn't appear like that. I don't know why, but we can adjust that. So take profit 2.
Sarah, can I just interrupt you for a second here?
Yeah.
Your little checklist, where did you make that from?
My checklist is this one. Trade sheet 2. This is one that a chap called Mark and me helped create for Chance, and Chance adopted it. So each trade, week beginning, pair, whether it's a buy or sell, it must have a pitchfork touch, except on big scans like this where we do take trades in the middle, which I'll go on to. And then it must have, for an entry, 2 out these 3 confirmations: quarter theory, 62 EMA, 1 minute trend break, a channel touch, or an 88.6 or 61.8 fib. Just simply,
is that stored somewhere where you can find it?
I can put it in Ninja Forex Traders. Paul's created me a unit section. I'll put it in there.
That's awesome, thank you.
And then for exits, we use the MTFA hull, the multi-time trade analysis hull. Our trade goal is 20 pips, our daily goal is 25 pips, and then we put down our result. And that's just the system we work to. BYOB has a check sheet, and 25 to life has a check sheet. So I do not.
That's what I was asking, just so I could kind of wrap my head around 3 different strategies here. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll put that in Ninja Forex Traders under my units. I'll just make a note of that check sheet. Okay, so let's just give you the rest of these figures. Let's take profit 1. And then we'll go down to the 15-minute and mark this up. This is, sorry, clone that, quickest way of doing it. That's saying entry, but we're going to adjust that.
Sarah, do you always set these up before the second candle is formed then, do you?
this isn't a 25 to life. Yes, is the answer to that, because I'm using Harmonic Scanner with pitchforks and those other confirmations for my check sheet. So that is my main strategy. So I will still use the scanner even if it hasn't got the second candle. Obviously, I can come back to this once the second candle's formed and take a 25 to life if I want to.
Okay, thanks.
Does that answer the question?
It does indeed.
Thank you. And that's the stop loss down there. So just change that to say stop loss. Right, so now we've got that on. And I'm just wondering, I'll just move those across. It's moved it off slightly, but I wanted to get a longer line because I know it'll change 8837. You won't be able to see it, and I don't want to draw them all the way across. Entry point at 40377. And take profit 1491, round about there. 42.
Sarah,
Yeah,
if you go to your next one, your TP1 that you're about to change,
yeah,
and then if you click on where it says coordinates,
yeah,
just 1 second here, I'll wait for you to bring it back up there.
yeah. Coordinates.
I'm
Yeah. What
a
you
little
want?
behind you.
You want
No,
it on?
so you see where, so TP2 for a second?
Yeah.
Don't even drag it, don't drag it.
Yeah.
So if you click on that there, you can just type in the number that you want. So like when you click on the settings,
Yeah.
it's got the, like, so mine right now says 315. If I put 290, it'll move that line over without changing that point, without having to do drag and drop. So you see where your number to your right, where it says 285?
Oh, yeah.
You can change that number there without having to drag and drop, and then it'll keep that one without messing with it.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay.
No
So that's useful. There you are. You see, I didn't know any of that. So, oh, hang on. I have to do it this way around for now. 583. I had the box on there. So I can just use that box on the right. Never thought of that. So let's go. Thank you. Let's go down to the 15-minute and add on. Because I do my chart setups on the 15-minute. And let's put on quarter theory. Now, quarter theory works off each major move in a currency pair will move 1,000 pips. That's a major move in a currency pair. And if you look down this right-hand side and you see where it says things like 500, 8000, 500, and then quarter theory, each of these orange dotted lines is a 50 pip interval, and they are each of equal value. Why do they work? They work because bankers are lazy, the markets are psychological, and bankers are settling up big round numbers at quarter points, decimal point system, which our whole Western world is based on. So they'll settle up or have their stop losses. They'll put 250 pip stop loss with it stopping at 42000. That's why quarter theory is so powerful. There's a 2-hour video on it on YouTube. If you want to go into detail, Ilyan Yotov is the master. I have sat and watched that, and I was a terrible dunce at school with maths, but I struggled enough to understand that it does work. Not that you need to understand it. So, just know it's a very strong line of support and resistance. Yeah.
So do you advise to go watch that to learn how to put that onto our charts? Because I'm not too sure how you put it on.
I advise to go and watch that if you really want to do your head in. Quite frankly, I don't know how a lot of these indicators work, and I don't care. I just know that they do work. But quarter theory is an aggressive line of support and resistance, i.e. a floor and a ceiling. So we're taught to look at head and shoulders, and we're taught to look at lines of like their, floors and ceilings. And it's
so how did you add that in? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, you add it in here if you come up here to indicators,
Okay.
here, just let it load up. And it, because someone wanted me to go through this today, so that's good. And it's this one, automatic quarters theory lines. That one, automatic quarter theories lines. Okay, and then I'll go through the settings because we were going to cover that today. Here, so perversely what you do is uncheck each quarter. We don't use that, we just use the half and the major, which gives us the 50 pip intervals, and make them all the same color. And the reason I make them all the same color is because psychologically, if you made them different colors, you would attach more weight to one line than another, and they are all equal. So make them all the same color, I make them orange. And then under inputs, it's just 100, 111, if you want to take a screenshot of that.
What version of quarter theory do you use?
Automatic quarter theories lines, it's called.
Okay.
This one, that one, automatic quarters theory lines. Okay. And that then, at a click of a button, gives me support and resistance without having to draw or look at levels. So on this, I come down to the 1 minute because that gives me the precise entry, and I want to see what this is, the current momentum in the market. Now you can put on your 25 to life or your BYOB strategy. I haven't got time to do 25 to life on this today as well, but I will always take my entries off the 1 minute because that is what enables me to get to work on a 10 pip stop loss apart from GBP pairs, which I'm just trying to move this up a bit. Very gone slow. And then we'll just finish off by talking about why does a pitchfork work. So pitchfork works because it has maths built, it's based on maths, as is the scanner, and it's based on Fibonacci. So it's a very aggressive line of, like a very aggressive trend line. So if this was a trend line, the white dotted and the white unbroken is, this is the pitchfork. If this was a trend line is more like a zone, whereas a pitchfork is very precise. It's an aggressive trend line. It's far more accurate than a trend line. I do use trend lines. I use the 1 minute trend line, but that's why a pitchfork works. So price at the moment has come straight off the D point, and it's come up and hit quarter theory. Can you see how it's rejecting quarter theory? It's rejected it here on the way down. It failed to hit it there. So price will always move between levels. If it fails to hit it there, it'll come back up to it. It broke through, failed to hit it, so it came back down, broke and retested, came back down, broke straight through, came back down, rejected off the pitchfork, come up, broken straight through the quarter theory, and now it's rejected off quarter theory to the pip and is coming back down. So when I'm looking at taking this as a trade, and we'll just put on our trade on this because as it's a current trade. So you don't, in my opinion, you do not need, depending on what time frame you like to work to, you won't need to have your stop loss. I know it's crazy markets, but that stop loss is 50, 100, 150 pips away, which is an enormous stop loss. So for me, I'd be setting the stop loss. If you put a long position, long for a buy, so come here to these lines here, and you'll see long position, short position. I've got them marked as favorites. This is a buy, which is also called a long position. I don't know why they can't just call it a buy. Short position is shorting it as a sell. So I've got now clicked on long position. So I won't get into this trade unless it rejects off that quarter theory. But normally price will want to come back down and retest the D point. On my rules, I wait for it to retest the D point. So I'm going to put this to be safe down here. Remember, I'm on the 1 minute. And then I look to a 10 pip stop loss to a 20 pip gain. And I like 3 barriers between me and the stop loss. 3 invisible walls. So I'll put on my 62 EMA. Let's see what that's doing. And the 1 minute EMA shown on the 15 minute, which is that blue line. So at the moment, it's still saying price wants to go down, and it's way below the 15 minute one. That is showing, saves me switching time frames. That's showing me the 1 minute momentum of the 62 EMA. What is the 62 EMA? It is the average of price over 62 days. So depending on which time frame you're on, it's measuring a different set of 62 candles. So at the moment, and remember we're on current momentum in the market because we're on the 1 minute. So that's still saying price wants to go down quite strongly, and there's quite a gap. And I'm waiting for price to come up and cross above that 15-minute blue line. So I would be looking at this trade, and that's a 21 pip stop loss there.
Sorry, Sarah, what's the blue line again?
The blue line is the 62-minute EMA, 62 EMA, sorry, not minutes, 62 candle EMA on the 15-minute chart. So you get to it by putting in a length of 930, which is 62 times 15 minute for 15-minute candle. So 62 times 15 gives you 930 length. Yeah?
No, sorry, you lost me there. What was that?
Okay. On the 62 EMA, this orange one, which is measuring 62 candles on the 1 minute chart. So it's my my 1 minute moving average for the 1 minute chart. I've got a length of 62. Okay.
Yep.
Because I'm on the 1 minute chart and I'm measuring price over the average of 62 candles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see what that will look like because the current momentum is on the 1 minute. The current momentum in the market is on the 1 minute. So I want to see that orange line come up and cross above this 15-minute. So to save me, trying to get that down, to save me switching to the 15-minute time frame to see where the 62 is, that's showing, I've drawn it as 930. So when I'm on the 1 minute chart, I can see where the 1 minute EMA will be on the 15-minute time frame.
So is that 62 EMA as well, is it?
Yes, but showing me what it will look like on the 15-minute time frame. So I'm waiting for the current trend in the market, the current momentum to come up. And once it's crossed above the 15-minute one, I know that's an incredibly powerful confirmation for saying price is in the strong momentum, in this case for the buy.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, Sarah. For some reason, I can't seem to get the quarter theories as an indicator. I can't see. I'm typing it in and I can't see it.
Okay, let's have a look at that again. Whoops.
Go quarter. If you type in quarter in the search and look about 12 indicators down, you'll see it.
Have you got it?
Perfect. Got it. Thank you.
Oh, you got it. Okay, great.
Nice question now, Sarah.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Right, I've got the indicator on, but I must have missed this bit. How do you line it up, or do you line it up?
You don't need to line it up. It will do it for you. You just you just click it on and off.
Okay.
So let me just get rid of this. Remove. That's it. So up here now, it's now appearing there. That hides it. If I press the I to click it off, and then if I uncheck the I, it's clicked it back on. Now it won't work when the market isn't working, so it's a pain in the butt if you're trying to do your back testing at weekends. You'll have to manually draw it on. It'll only work when the market's on. Okay, so you just click it on and off. So on the 1 minute, I'm going to look at this for a trade I might use a bigger stop loss because of how wacky the market is at the moment. And it's quite a big gap. So it's not my favorite trade because normally I'd like these closer together so that I'd like it looking like this. So I've got some nice barriers between me, and they're quite wide apart because it's such a big scan. But to take this trade, I should be looking at entry on a break and a retest off that pitchfork. So I want to see price before I decide to take this. I want to see that 62 come down here and start to turn, and price to be following that. So I want to see that 62 turn before I take this trade. So my entry would be around about, I'm going to compare this to the scanner now, and then I need to go because Sharon's on. So if anyone wants to hop off for Sharon, I don't want to hold people up for Sharon. Entry for me would be around about, ideally like that stop loss below that quarter theory. And I'm very, very mindful of how wild the markets can be at the moment. And I haven't looked at news as well for this afternoon on Forex Factory. So that's saying the entry's there off that D point. So that's got it lower than I would like it. I would move my entry to about 1.40785. And then a take profit at the first one. I need to get the risk to reward ratio at, because price will stall at levels. So 1.4041, that quarter theory line would be my first look at take profit, which would give us, trying to move that down. Oh, got the brush mark on. I'll write this up in the watch list as well for anyone that wants to go for Sharon's. I'll just finish in a minute. I don't like to hold up the next person on after me. I sometimes find when I'm on Zooms, it goes a bit slow, and I think there's more people obviously working at home. So I want to pull that down to 20. And I don't like that risk to reward at the moment. And it is a big scan. So if I move that to my normal work, profit level, first profit level at just 20 pips. I just work on my 2 to 1 and a stop loss of 100, i.e. 10 pips. Then you can see why I would want price to turn before I get into it. Normally I'll be pinging right off on the break and the retest. Let me get rid of that. So this is what I'm looking for to take this trade. So price to come down, break, retest, and then enter. And if it does that, and I know this is a long way around of getting rid of the brush mark, but I've never been able to work out how to just, it never seems to do it for me, get rid of the brush mark without clicking on something else. Then that means I can move that down, but wait for the retest. No retest, no entry. And then I want price will come back up off that. So that means I can then get in there 1.0735, but only after a break and a retest to show it's moving up, and the 62 is moving up as well. And then it will want to go to that level. So I've moved it to 25 pips there, thereabouts at the 1 TP1. And then if it does this, a stall out there and takes off again, then I'd be looking for it to the next level at TP2, because it is a big scan. TP2 at 1.41500, which is similar to what the scan has been saying. If you're if you are a longer term trader, more of a swing trader, and which I'm not, I'm a hybrid intraday scalper. So I'm doing my chart analysis of the 1 hourly time frames, but I'm entering on the 1 minute for the precise entry. But if you're in a longer, bigger trade and you like to swing trade, you will want your stop loss down at that quarter, just below that quarter theory to protect you, 1.40490.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know when you said you want to retest off VD?
Yeah.
So how many pips to retest from that point? What would you enter?
Very good question. A break and a retest of 10 pips.
10 pips.
Is
So
what
10 pips more than you'd enter.
10 pip break and retest, and then that means I can enter on that pitchfork. Right. If it only breaks and retests, say 7 or 8 pips, and I've been caught out by that before on live accounts, not with big lot sizes, but when I was learning, I found that it's in effect that's been sort of slippage and it's been going the other way. Doesn't mean to say I don't take trades where it's only gone 7 or 8 pips. Say for example, I had that orange 62 had crossed above the blue 15-minute one, and I knew the momentum was with me. I could see what the whole trend was. Then you know, I might do it, but normally I'll wait. As our rule, we wait 10 pips.
Okay, thank you.
Is that enough on this one then? I'm just aware of time. So
yeah, that was really helpful, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, price may reject off this. You can see the 62's turning and I'm on the 1 minute. It may not come back down here, you know, so if it's going to break and retest off this quarter theory line, then take the trade off here, because it is a big scan, so it may well not come back down to there. And then if you felt more comfortable with putting a bigger stop loss on to cover you on that pitchfork, put your stop loss at 25 pips at round about 1.40700, depending on your appetite for risk. But as soon as your trade moves into profit by 10 pips, I set an alert and I move my stop loss to stop profit of 1 to 1.5 pips to cover me on the broker spread and commission. Then I know I've got a risk-free trade, even if the market reverses on me. Yeah. Yep. But if you get in off a rejection of a quarter theory trade, and I did that yesterday with that OrdCAD, then you've got 25 pip stop loss, and you'd be looking for that next level at 50 pips at 1.41500. So that's quite nice because you'll have a risk reward of 1 to 2. Okay.
And you're always looking at the 1 minute chart for this, yeah?
That's the strategy I follow. Is the 1
okay.
1 minute entry, the current momentum of the market.
Yeah, that's good.
That's what enables me to get the smaller stop losses.
Yeah.
So I think what this trade is doing, I'll put the hull on just to show you before we go, but this is an exit. I don't use it for entries. But this looks like it's a quarter theory trade here. It's not going to go back down there. That's what I'm thinking, but I haven't checked Forex Factory News, so please check that as well. So let's just load. So this shows you in the background on the bands, the 15-minute, it's a 30, this is an indicator, all indicators will lag, so it lags by about 30%. So price is running through and showing me that it's on the 1 minute, that it's in a downward momentum. Let's just see if I can make it bigger for you. So I did look at this yesterday as well. So on the 15-minute time frame, the band at the back is showing me price is going down, but here the green, it flipped on the 1 minute is going through price, it flipped green and it's red. So as soon as that flips back to green, you can see here off the D point, green, 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 green. And as soon as you see how it rejected off quarter theory and turned to red, so I'd be out the trade at that point. I'd use it as an exit and I would have got my 50 pips, or more than that, 50, 75 pips there. So I'd be out the trade. And you can see that's a very interesting point for me. I don't use it as an entry, but that is a very interesting point because there we are shooting up. And you'll find in a minute, it's a lagging indicator that will turn to green now to follow behind what price is doing, and the 62's turned up as well. So this is a quarter theory trade. That's what's happening now. But Oh, and that's the other thing, timing. I would not have entered that trade 10 minutes before the hour or 10 minutes after the hour, because that's where you get the fake outs, where the bankers try to psychologically mess with our heads and make us think we're in the wrong trade and get us to come out of the trade. So I would have been waiting for this point anyway, but I'd be trying to take it off one of these levels where you get the strongest ping, you know, this gives you the most chance of success. Okay, so I'm going to stop recording, stop share. If anyone's got any other questions, that's fine. I just don't want, I'm going to stop the recording.
Thank you.